Hey, what's up, Cheesecake Nation? It is Supercharged Funk, and the Dave blasting at ya with a very special N7 Day video.
And here we're going to be talking about it. We're recording it Saturday, so we haven't seen the N7 Day trailer, but we're just going to talk about it. It should be coming out Monday. Just some of our quick predictions on what we kind of think we're going to see, and then just more of an abstract of, as fans of all the games, admitted issues with 3, what we kind of want to see moving forward in Andromeda, and where we kind of think they're going story-wise. Alright, so I guess I'll kick it off with you. Mass Effect 3, in my opinion, had the best just control schematics, but it was also a game based around kind of close quarters combat, a lot of like ducking and hiding.
Right.
This is going to be an exploring game.
Yep. So,
what do you think the game needs in order to move from a cover-based shooter into more of a open terrain?
That's a good one. A lot of shooters are usually, they're either the duck and cover kind or they're just the running around, running and gunning kind. I can't really see Mass Effect doing that. I think what shooting elements they will have will pretty much stay the same.
Well, they're bringing in the jetpack little booster jump thing, so I think that helps a little bit. I'm a little worried because I wasn't a big fan of it in Borderlands.
Right.
Like, I don't know, it just felt a little gimmicky to me. So when I saw it in Mass Effect, I was kind of like, I'm wondering how they're going to map it, because that was a major issue in Mass Effect 3. Everything mapped to one button.
Yeah.
Run, cover, jump out of cover, scratch your nuts, reload your gun, fucking send a signal up to Mars, light a fire.
Yeah, it took some used to getting used to all the different buttons, and hopefully it'll be a little more simplistic, but
yeah, because that was probably my biggest issue gameplay-wise with 3, was the fact that run and dive into cover were on the same thing.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of people that kind of want to kind of bring back what the first Mass Effect had in terms of the overall gameplay. Not the whole, getting all the shit ton of equipment. That was pretty useless, so nobody wants that, but a lot of people kind of want to go back to the no ammo system. I mean, I could care less either way, to be perfectly honest.
I kind of like how Mass Effect 3 had it, as long as you don't make them all DLC guns.
Right.
Have the Lancer in there. The Prothean laser gun, let's be fair, probably not going to be there. I don't know where in Andromeda you would pick up a Prothean laser gun. So if the Lancer's in the game, I won't have an issue with it. Like, have it in there for the fans, make it a fairly solid weapon. I still think the fact that you need to reload and keep track of your ammo should kind of warrant the gun being a little bit better, but the Lancer could still be a solid weapon. Alright, so here's one of the big things I'm really hoping for as a change going forward is, from 2 to 3, you had about 2 evolutions in all of your path trees, I guess is the best way to call it. So I'm hoping they kind of expand that.
Right.
Because pretty much all engineers kind of played fairly similarly.
Yeah.
All adepts were pretty much doing the same thing. I kind of hope we get some sort of divide. You have to make a choice one way or the other. Let's say, I'm generally probably going to play Soldier, just what I always play in Mass Effect. I know some people that are blasphemy powers and such, but it's just the class I like. You should have the option from being either something akin to the standard Mass Effect 3 Soldier, where your adrenaline rush, that's your main ability, that's what you want to use, or Marksman, or the Devastator armor, whatever the hell it was called.
Yeah.
Those are your 3 options, but you can only get one. And as you level up your soldier proficiency, those are your special powers. And then have the same thing for a Vanguard, as opposed to either... you're always going to have Vanguard charge, but you can either have, the Nova, where you just punch the ground, explosion around you, or the little hand blaster thing. Or even, the Smash ability that the Cerberus adapts. Do the same kind of thing. Engineer. You've got either like a little drone where you can have a few of them out there at a time, or a combat drone that's actually like useful, or something akin to like what the Cerberus engineers, where you're setting up like one fuck turret and it's going to like you. It doesn't move, and it can really only like 180 around, but it does a fuck ton of damage. So you kind of want to set that up as your choke point, lure your enemies back to it, kind of thing. And like it takes time to set up. Like those are your kind of three things. Like where you kind of open up powers, and it's like
it makes you
feel specialized.
Yeah, you definitely. They definitely need to, like you said, branch out the powers and make it feel almost like, okay, I'm this thing.
Yeah.
But I can't be the other thing. Like I'm an engineer, but I'm a specific kind of engineer.
Or like the same kind of thing with like a sentinel. Because a sentinel could be a few different things. Like you could, without even like being like, oh, I'm more biotic, I'm more tech, but like your sentinel could be just a fucking tank. Like you've got tech armor, you've got barriers, additional. Like you just have a shit ton of health to just kind of work with, and then you have a few tech and biotic powers. Or you're like the medic class, and your character has a lot of abilities to kind of work around powering up your team. Like you're like, all right, I'm gonna rock whatever my two best squad mates are when it comes to damage dealers. You're Krogan and probably a Turian. Load them up with the best assault rifles, and your character's just pumping them for damage because everybody knows AI characters really don't miss. So you got a Krogan that's just running around like getting heals off of you. Maybe you're buffing his damage or whatever. Whatever you're doing, you're making him better. And then the last kind could be your more expanded, where you're, I don't know the best way to put it, like a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
Where you don't have any specific awesome sentinel power, like you don't have tech armor, you don't have access to these great healing abilities, but you have more random powers. You have warp, you have energy drain, you have all these kind of weird things on both sides, kind of like a pick and choose. But now you're a little bit on the flimsy side. Like you've got to play a little bit more conservatively. You got to use those powers, but you have a power for every situation, kind of thing. And you can kind of do this with all the characters. Have a character that, like the infiltrator, you can have your standard cloak and shoot kind of thing, or you can have ability where effectively you cloak and you stay cloaked until you physically break cloak. And you could use that, and you just stealth your way through the game. You don't have to kill. Almost like a pacifist thing. Like, maybe for game balancing, you would need to do something with it where you have some sort of limit.
Yeah.
But you're tactical. You're using it to get to places.
Kind of like how they do it in Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, like you want to play the stealth character.
Yeah, like you get different achievements, or you get different endings, or you get different gear depending upon how you play the game.
Yeah, and like that's kind of one last thing to kind of talk about is I kind of hope armor is purely cosmetic. Like I know it's not going to be, because they're like, oh, you can unlock rare armor, and obviously rare armor is going to be better. Just the way games work. Like, why would you go and try to fight for just purely cosmetic things? Like, I will. There's definitely a fan base that will do that, but having something attached to it, just because I don't want to see a whole bunch of people where all soldiers wear the same armor.
Yeah.
All the depths are wearing all whatever your plus power armor is. All your sentinels are running like health and cooldown armor, and like everybody kind of looks the same. Like that's my only issue with having armor like that. So hopefully, there's a lot of different issues, like different kind of things you can rock with. Because like I play a soldier, but I like to play a bulky soldier, just the way I like to play. I don't like going down. I like to be able to stay up and just kind of like hammer to hammer. Like I like a lighter weight, use my adrenaline rush to heal myself, and just kind of like bulk up as much as I possibly can in armor and shields and just fight it out. But I know some people, they're just going to go, I want pure 100% damage, DPS, that's my name. I'm going to rock 3 guns, and who cares what my cooldowns are, I just want everything I can to get as much damage out of my weapons as possible. And that's cool too. Anything you really want to see before we kind of get into speculations?
Just in terms of, I don't know, man, just like...
Do you think we'll get classes outside the standard 6?
I feel like... That's a good question. This goes to something that I definitely want to see. We need more races.
I think we'll get
I mean,
some.
definitely need more races. Definitely need, like...
Because I think... I don't know if it's been confirmed, but it was in the Reddit leak that there's at least 2 new ones. Well, they've kind of talked about them. We have whatever our new evil race is, like there are bad guys, and we have like a new Protheans, effectively, called the Remnant. But they've shown some new races, but I could agree with you having a nice...
Not seeing a whole lot of the old, because we are far away from the norm. So maybe not seeing as much would be kind of cool. But we just gotta get back to basics in terms of the storytelling.
Yeah.
Mass Effect was so good up until the ending of 3. I mean, 3 was alright, but, it still was a decent game aside of the ending. Like, Mass Effect Trilogy, one of the best video game series of all time. Like, people still love it. 2, most people consider the best out of the 3.
I consider 3 the best if you ended the game with Marauder shields. Like, if something else happened after that, and, like, I don't know. But, like, up until that point, like, everything in Mass Effect 3, I really loved. I loved the updates to the combat system.
Yeah.
I love the multiplayer. But, yeah, I can agree. A lot of people do view 2 as the best in the series.
Yeah. And just that first feeling in 2 where you see these characters, like if you didn't kill Rex, you see Rex and he comes up and he's happy to see you, and then when you see Liara the first time and then she comments upon, like, because I went with Liara at the beginning over Ashley, and then I started going with Tally.
You didn't like the space racist?
And she comments on, you being with Tally, and just little things like that I really liked. I just really hope we get just the grade A storytelling that they had, and then the character designs, not even just like the way they look, just the way they talk and the way they act. Like, there's not too many characters that I really dislike.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not huge on some characters. Like, I'm not... A lot of people aren't huge on Vega, but I don't think he was a terrible character.
Yeah, actually, I just happened to have watched the anime movie.
Yeah?
And it's pretty much just Vega's backstory. It makes him a lot better of
Really?
a character. Like, I wish they would have packaged that somehow in Mass Effect 3. So it's like, on disc, you can watch it kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you can be like, oh, alright, so Vega. But yeah, like, it gives his backstory, and it's actually pretty cool. Like, you get to see, like, why he is the way he is. Like, you get to see the mission that caused him to not want to go into N7. So, alright, I got another thing I kind of want to see that I think could be really cool. And even if it's not in the launch, I'm cool with it, but I think it needs to be a DLC down the line, is the idea of factions. Like, and having factions that matter. Like, if you're like... Because assuming... The assumption is you're one big fuck plane, but there's other... Well, not plane, ship.
Mm-hmm.
You're a siege ship, I guess. But there's other races with you. But if you're like, alright, if I want to set up this world for the Turians, they need a different diet than everybody else. So I'm screwing over the other races by favoring the Turians. But that also gives me an alliance stronger with the Turians that are with me. So when you do things, like, you'll get certain bonuses. Like, that's something I think could be really cool. Or if you're like, I want to do this and help the Krogans. So, like, when I do strike missions, maybe I get a bonus, or I unlock Krogan-themed stuff faster because I'm aligned with the Krogans.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, maybe I'll get a Claymore or whatever other Krogan kind of gear, or maybe I'll unlock Krogans for multiplayer quicker.
Yeah.
Or if you're like, I like Asaris.
Some sort of perk for aligning with certain characters.
And then you have, like, you're purely neutral. Like, if you're like, I want to be diplomatic and everybody kind of gets a fair shake, but then and that's like, alright, you'll unlock everything kind of just RNGesus, you know. But I would like the idea of setting up factions, and it doesn't have to be, the Blue Suns and Eclipse and the Blood Pact, but something along those lines, and I'd like to see Cerberus in this game. Like,
Yeah.
maybe it's not the elusive man Cerberus, but some sort of faction of Cerberus that are on this thing that are like, you know, we want to make sure humanity's interest is first. Whether
Right.
that's actually Cerberus or some sort of new faction, I think could be pretty cool. Like, because you're playing as a human. It's pretty much been confirmed. You're Ryder in either your brother Ryder or sister Ryder and the other Ryder somewhere in the universe.
Yeah.
Possibly. I mean, they could be dead, I guess. We don't really know how the story's going to go. But so, if you're a human and you have to make these decisions, like, oh, if I do this, if I give a golden homeworld to the Krogan, you know, this has this impact. Or if I'm like, oh, I want to set this up, like, and even you can go farther with it. Like, let's say you're romancing an Asari, but you're favoring Krogans diplomatically. Maybe that has an effect on your relationship.
Yeah, definitely, like, other characters intertwining, because if you're gonna help out the Krogans, Turian's probably gonna be pissed at you.
Yeah. Like,
Or if you're going on, like, a scientific thing, and you favor the Solarians, the Asari probably aren't gonna appreciate it. You know?
and depending on who you're, like, that's the things you're getting. Like, if you favor Solarians, let's say, you're gonna get your tech boost things. So maybe if you're an engineer, that's worth going for, but you're going to screw yourself on something else. Like, maybe you're losing military might, but you're picking up whatever. Like, maybe your recon bases are weaker, but your tech mining things are stronger. Like,
Right.
just stuff like that kind of helps. And then you could also, like, one of my favorite things, and it was heavily in Mass Effect 2 and not really in 3, was Miranda and Jack, where they were fighting. And then you had Legion and Tally, where you could pick a side, and you're like...
Oh, yeah. And
So
if you didn't do certain things, one would still stay pissed at you.
Yeah, because I think that helps with replay value. Like, I think there should
Oh, yeah.
always kind of be an option of being a diplomatic, you know, walk we together. But I like the idea of being a decisive person. Like I remember, like, the first time I ever played, like, I was like, I didn't like Jack, I just thought she was a bitch. So I sided with Miranda. It just made sense for my character. Like, that's just what I wanted to do. And then, like, you can do these kind of things. And losing squad mates. I want my decisions to have lasting impacts. Let's say I'm screwing over the Krogan on every turn. I lose the access to my Krogan guy. He's like, you know what? Fuck this. He takes a ship and he goes to his own planet. He's like, I'm going to defend that. And maybe that screws me out of him surviving the end of the game, going into Andromeda 2 or whatever their plans are. But that's my choice. I'm the captain. I made that choice. I want it to have an actual impact, whether it's good or bad. And I want it to not be super obvious, because that was kind of one thing in, like, Mass Effect. It's like, what are your options? Like, both of you shut up. Or, like, Garrus, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Tally, go jump out the airlock. It's like, oh, well, I wonder if I told Garrus to go fuck himself, if he was going to be angry at me. It's like, no, have some more, like, different things where you're like... another video game that did it well was Skyrim, when you do the Civil War negotiations. Something akin to that, where you're like, you're trying to negotiate, and you could pick options, and you have a nice little drop-down bar, or, you know, you just have all the options on the Mass Effect wheel, if that's what you want. But I'd like to see, you know, a drop-down thing, where you're like,
Yeah.
alright, the Krogans are angry at me, because I haven't been doing enough with them, and I've got, you know, so many things set up for the Asari, let's just say, because I usually side with the Asari on a lot of things. They just, my thing, like blue chicks. So that they're like, alright, you've got so many worlds, like, the Krogan need a home world. We need a new home world. What world are you willing to give us? And I'm like, I get my little drop-down menu, and I'm like, I could give them an Asari world, and maybe that pisses off my, you know, new Asari waifu. But I've also got these other things, like, well, the Solarians don't really need 3 planets. Give them a Solarian thing, and then the Solarian's like, hey, dick. Why do the Asari get 4 planets? We get 2, the Krogan get 1. New Garrus doesn't even get a planet. You know, like, just these kind of things where you're trying to keep up your alliances. Or you're just like, fuck it. All these other things. Or my humans are... Like, I've been really working on mining, so my humans are beyond where the Solarians are tech-wise at this point. So I don't really need to worry about them. Like, go fuck yourself, wizards. Go figure that shit out for yourself. Or amphibians, I think they are. just these kind of things where you have a lasting impact and you have factions and you have to kind of work to keep them together, or just be like, you know what, you're the weak straw, and have actual faction kind of infighting where it can kind of set up things later on, like possible mutinies, things like that, where you're like, you've been pissing off the Turians. Maybe they're going to mutiny. They're like, you're not the captain we want, but you've still got everybody else on your side. But if they've also been able, like, if you're screwing over the Turians and the Solarians and the Asari, and you're just like, Krogan bros, set up like a billion new Chachunkas. Now you and your Krogan bros got to fight off all the other races that are on your ship.
Things are going to be looking too swell.
Yeah. You're going to need more than your quad to get you through that one. Like, these kind of options where, like, maybe if you're just fucking Captain Badass, you can roll. Like, human, Krogan, building an Andromeda. Like, fuck whatever else is out there. But just these kind of things where they're lasting impacts, and races don't automatically survive. You could kill off all the Turians in Andromeda. They just... You don't put anything towards them. They don't have a home world. They mutiny from you. You're like, fuck it, go find your own planet. And they're flying around the little fucking Scooty Puff Jr. These kind of things. I think that's a cool idea.
Yeah.
And then potentially setting up other things down the line. Like if you screw over the Turians, maybe they join with, I can't think of what the bad guys in the new game. They gave them a name, but I can't think of it. Maybe they start showing up inside their ranks. You have rogue Turians. Just these kind of things I think could be really cool. Some sort of faction system. Yeah. The only other thing I was thinking of is I think they need to put back the limits on weapons for certain classes.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if you're going to build a Sentinel that just has like all passive abilities, it's like, you're not really a Sentinel anymore. And you're just like, yeah, I'm going to rock a sniper rifle and like this heavy assault rifle. Like, I'm alright with like all weapon classes kind of being like anybody can kind of rock them, but when it comes to like super heavy weapons, maybe the adept can't carry a claymore. It's kind of a stupid thing anyways, but like people want to do it and I understand that. But I would say like, because I know the big rumor going around is they're going to bring back heavy weapon slot from Mass Effect 2.
Right.
I kind of feel like maybe you should make that a soldier, infiltrator, vanguard kind of thing. And then you have some other thing that kind of balances the more power-based classes.
Right.
Please don't jump on my dick. Thank you. So, alright. So, what do you think we're going to see in this N7-day trailer? I mean, other than, standard shit. We're going to see some gameplay, probably.
We better. It's been quite a while. We definitely need to see some... the races. We definitely need to know...
You think we're going to see new races, or you think we're just going to kind of get a taste of who our companions are going to be, kind of... squad mates, if you will.
That's a good one. Well, we know that there's going to be a Asari. We know that already.
Yeah, we've seen her... They've confirmed a few of them, actually. We know we have a Krogan, because he's been in a few of the different things. We know we have a human male and a human female that are with us, and then we've seen the Asari, who was on one of the maps. Hasn't been confirmed she's a squad mate, but it's pretty...
Yeah, it'd be weird if she wasn't.
The one thing about it, though, is there were 4 people there. All the Mass Effect multiplayer modes rock a 4-man squad, so it's possible from here on out we're going to rock 4-man squads, as opposed to the standard single-player 3. Because the thing is, in the single-player, when it comes to, what do you call them? Can't think what their actual name is, but effectively like dungeons.
Mm-hmm.
Remnant dungeons, effectively. You can call in friends and form a 4-man squad to go through them. So, like, let's say you're host. You get the treasure that's in there. And everybody else gets some other random shit, like rare armor that you only get from playing these multiplayer kind of things. Like stuff like that. So, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they go to a 4-man squad. Especially in the... You can make a real argument for it, like, hey, I'm going down to the planet. Maybe I need an extra person with me.
Yeah.
You're just kind of wandering around. You kind of want somebody Like, maybe if you got a sniper on your team, you kind of tell him to pop a squat up on a hill and be like, hey, you keep an eye out. I don't want to get flanked by a thresher moth. You see that, take a pop shot at it. Let us know. Shoot a proxy mine at it. And then it's like you and your Krogan buddy and a sorry wife who are just going to go wander the desert. So, like, I don't know. The thing I think we're going to see is possibly some new combat mechanics.
Right.
Because I think you're not going to see a lot of cover in this game. Outside of, like, the Mako and maybe some of the levels, I don't think you're going to see, like, stat cover.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking you might see things like, you're going to have the super jump, and I think you might see something akin to dropping prone or something.
Yeah.
Something that helps you, kind of avoid being shot at. I don't know, maybe they're going to put in something akin to like, oh, alright, I've got... Me and my squad are kind of like stuck in a sandstorm, so the enemy like are over there. They can't see us until we come out of the sandstorm kind of thing, but you've got the motion tracker, so you're like, something's over there. And maybe if you're like really sitting there and working your ass off with the scope, maybe you can kind of see a little bit of something. So I got a feeling you're going to see some sort of new overhaul of a more open world combat system. I think prone should be in the game. I don't see at this point why it couldn't be.
Yeah.
Maybe it's going to be a lot more combat rolling and using your jetpack thing to kind of like get around, but I'm kind of hoping there's other options. Because I think there's always been crouch, right? Actually, no, there wasn't. I think of it. Because it was always crouch and cover.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, maybe we don't get prone, but I'm thinking we might get a crouch. So you can kind of right-hand advantage, get behind cover without snapping a cover. Maybe it'll be an option, but it's like going to be a very limited thing. Like I can't imagine they're just going to program cover into like an open desert. Like, oh yeah, there's just a big fucking rock everywhere. Go hide behind that thing. Either that or they're going to buff your shields quite a bit so you can actually tank some rounds. Because on hard, without cover, you're not going to last long.
Yeah.
If it's anything like 1, 2, and 3. But, alright, anything else you want to talk about before we wrap this video up?
I don't know, man. I think...
What class are you planning on going as? Have you kind of made up your mind, or you want to look at what their power sets are?
Might have to look into it. I generally jump around, like I've played pretty much every class in all my different playthroughs.
Yeah, I think I've played almost every class. I don't think I've played a Vanguard in 3, just because I always play on hard.
Yeah. And
it's like, insta-grabs are just ridiculous.
I mean, if I had to pick, I've always been a fan of the engineer class. My boy Ballsy von Balzenberger, hoping to make a triumphant return.
Yeah, maybe get a little bit of a buff to him. Alright guys, I think that's pretty much going to be the end of this video. I don't think we really have much to talk about left, but I just wanted to kind of talk about it before N7 Day. If you guys like this video, we'll probably do some more for other games before they come out. Yeah. Either way, you're probably going to get a Sun and Moon one probably next week, and just kind of like... We pretty much got all of our information I think we're pretty much going to get for Sun and Moon. Yeah. Maybe a couple little like, oh hey, in the post game you get a hand job. It's like, oh sweet.
Yeah, so right before the game comes out, we'll do our little speculative video about what we think's going to happen.
Yeah. Alright guys, I'm the Elusive Dave.
And I am Supercharged Fun.
There guys. Could have gone with Commander Chug.